You have few friends, maybe one or two people you are truly close with. The rest are acquaintances, colleagues, people from the past you haven't spoken to in ages. And surely everyone tells you that you need to be more active, attend events, that the problem is you are too withdrawn, too strange. But what if it's the exact opposite? Today, we are going to look at one simple thing. People with a small circle of friends are not sociopaths or losers. Their brains just work differently. And if you are one of them, it isn't a diagnosis. It is a trait that psychology calls rare. Stay until the end to understand your unique features and their main advantages, myth and truth. Let's start with what everyone gets wrong. Society says the more friends, the better. The wider the social network, the more successful you are, the happier you are. This is a lie, an absolute harmful lie. Studies show the opposite. The quantity of friends does not correlate with happiness. Moreover, people with a huge social circle are often lonelier on the inside than those who have one or two close people. Why? Because most of these friends are a facade, people with whom you maintain the appearance of a connection. You like photos, exchange superficial messages, meet once a year, and pretend everything is like it used to be. But inside, it's empty, because there is no real closeness, no real understanding. You can sit in a room with 20 friends and feel completely alone. Now imagine a person who has one friend, but with this friend, they can talk about anything, be silent and feel comfortable, show the worst sides of themselves and not fear judgment. Who is lonelier? The one with 20 superficial connections or the one with one deep connection? That's the truth. People with a small circle of friends do not suffer from a lack of connections. They suffer from an overabundance of the wrong people around them. And their brain realizes this before they do. How your brain filters people. For most people, the social filter works like this. Meet a person, then they aren't aggressive. Then we can hang out. The entry threshold is low. Anyone who isn't overtly toxic gets into the circle of acquaintances. Your filter works differently. Meet someone, then they aren't fake, then they say meaningful things, then their energy isn't annoying, then maybe it's worth getting to know them better. The entry threshold is high. Most people get weeded out at the very first stage. This isn't arrogance. It's just how your brain processes social information. Psychology calls this high social sensitivity. Your brain notices things others miss. A fake smile, shallowness behind friendliness, emptiness behind words. And when you notice this, your nervous system reacts. You literally feel uncomfortable around such people. That's why after a party you feel drained. Not because you are an introvert, although that's possible, but because your brain processed 1,000 tiny signals that others didn't even notice. This is a huge load. It's as if you were listening to 10 radio stations simultaneously. By the end of the evening, you are exhausted. Meanwhile, the people around you are energetic and cheerful, and you think, something is wrong with me. No, you are fine. You just process more information, and that requires more energy, and that is exactly the trait that makes your circle of friends small. If after social events you need a whole day of silence to recover, hit the like button. You are not alone, and it is not a weakness. Why you need depth here is what most people don't understand about those with a small circle. They think you avoid interaction, that you are antisocial, that you don't need people. Total nonsense. You need people, just different people. An ordinary person can chat about the weather, gossip, or the latest TV show and feel satisfied. Their brain gets a dose of social interaction and is happy. For you, small talk is torture. You sit there and feel irritation building up inside. You want to scream, "Who cares about this?" But you politely nod and wait for it to end. Why? Because your brain is tuned for depth. It wants conversations about dreams, philosophy, life, about something that has weight. When there is no such weight, your brain perceives it as a waste of time and shuts down. You are physically present, but emotionally you have already left. This doesn't mean you are better or worse than others. It means you are wired differently. Most people don't need depth constantly. They can switch between the superficial and the deep. For you, the superficial is just emptiness. And that is exactly why you have few friends. Because there are few people capable of depth. Few people who aren't afraid of uncomfortable topics and honest conversations. You are not lonely by choice. You are lonely because you are waiting for a level of connection that the majority is incapable of. Independence as protection. There is something else. People with a small circle are usually deeply independent, not because they want to be special, but because they learned to be. At some point in your life, you realized you cannot rely on people completely. Maybe you were betrayed, maybe disappointed, and your brain made a conclusion. It is safer to cope on your own. It is safer to build your world so that it doesn't depend on the unpredictable people around you. It is a form of survival. You learn to entertain yourself, to find meaning in solitude, to solve problems without outside help. And the better you got at this, the less you needed others. The paradox is that this independence makes you more attractive to healthy people. Because you aren't needy, you don't demand constant attention. You are self-sufficient. But at the same time, this independence scares off toxic people. Because they have nothing to take from you, you won't chase after them. You don't need their approval. So your small circle is not a punishment. It is a filter. Only those who value you remain by your side. What happened in your life that made you more selective about people? Share your stories in the comments. Trust as a high stake. And finally, people with a small circle usually carry the past within them. Something that taught them not to trust too quickly. Maybe a slow realization that most people are inconsistent. And your brain remembered this. It created an internal security protocol. Now, trust is not something you give to everyone. It is something that must be earned. Other people seem to find this easy. Met a person at a party, already friends. Exchange numbers, and they are already close. They easily let people into their lives. You can't do that. You observe, listen, watch to see if words match actions. Does the person stay when things get taut? Do they remember you when they don't need help? This makes you slow in forming bonds. But when a bond is formed, it is strong because it has been tested. To understand psychology deeper and know yourself better, subscribe to the channel. Here, we explore life issues without complicated terms. You have few friends, and that is normal. Most people live in quantity mode. They collect acquaintances like stamps. The more, the better. You live in quality mode. One person who understands you is worth more than 100 who just know your name. And when you finally meet the person who passes your filter, you will realize that the wait was worth it.